What I see sometimes is people trying to take too big of a bite, meaning they're new, even maybe their team members are new, and they're trying to source a deal. They're going to try to raise money. They're going to try to get a loan at the same time. And when you don't have any experience doing that, it's way too much to do that all by yourself, all at once, because it's a lot of work. For us as an example, it's fairly easy if we get a new deal under contract. Probably in about a couple of hours, we can call everybody from our transactional attorney, our securities attorney, our insurance broker, our loan broker, whether it's the escrow company, and we can get everybody on board at the starting line really quick. But that's because we've done it so many times, and we have everybody basically at the tips of our fingers. We work with them consistently so they know how we work, and we have everything set up. Somebody who's trying to get into the business doesn't have those relationships built yet. So what I always say is, don't try to take such a big bite. Take a smaller bite, bring some value to the table, and partner with somebody such as ourselves, who's an experienced operator, so we can kind of bring you in as maybe as a small fractional part of the general partnership group. And that's because you were able to add value, whether you're bringing a deal to the table, or maybe you're creating a fund of funds to be able to participate in the fundraising.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pro Show. I'm your host, Erika, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Danny Flores, the CEO and founder of Prime Capital Investments. Danny, it's great to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Erika. Thanks so much for having me.
Our listeners are really going to be in for a treat, especially with how you've been scaling your portfolio and all of your years of expertise. So let's dive on in. Danny, for those who might not know you yet, give us the rundown. How did you get started in the investing world?
Yes, so I started, I have a unique background, and I think I bring a unique skill set to the table. My first career was in construction, and I was 16. I was a builder for 16 years, and learned how to build homes, and then did some heavy construction as well. But then I decided to go back to school and wanted to do a career change. And I was lucky enough to get into USC. I got a corporate finance degree and became a banker, which was my second dream and second career. And we did loans between 25 million to over $1 billion. And that's where I cut my teeth on the finance side of this business. When I was doing that, never in a million years did I think I was going to be doing what I do now. But nevertheless, my ultimate dream was to buy multifamily. And I was able to save $65,000. And in 2000, I bought my first fourplex here in California. And then what I did is I ended up selling it about a year and a half later, got $100,000 profit off of that and did an exchange. And I did that for about 15 years, just building my own portfolio and with my own money at that time. And in 2006, I started a property management company, which I sold about 4 years ago. And so I learned how to do the property management side. So now I have construction side, I have the finance side, and I have the property management side. In 2018, I was introduced to syndicating and the ability to be able to raise money from family, friends, and we have private equity, we have institutional capital now, and learn how to put equity together to be able to do larger projects. And since then, 2018, 2019, we kind of shifted gears and started doing larger buildings. We do heavy repositions, heavy value adds. Sometimes it's just operational plays where we buy already renovated buildings and come in and basically fix the operations and get pretty good returns for our investors.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Danny, with your experience in investing, what has been the biggest shift that you've seen since you've started?
Oh, that's a good question. So when I started back, 25 years ago, we were buying buildings in California at a true 8 cap on existing rents. And it was to the point where the banks would tell me, you don't have to put 25% down. We'll let you buy this building with 20% down. So the cap rates were really high, cash flow was really high, and valuation moved very fast. And I think the biggest difference that I noticed being in the business, it was after the stock market crash, 2007, right around that time when that happened, or a little bit before that, is when I saw a lot of people coming into the business and became more competitive. And as it became more competitive, we saw cap rate compression and it changed a little bit. And now it's even more competitive. And so those large profits and those cash flows that we used to get off of these buildings are not there now. It takes a little bit longer to build up to them, and you got to look a little bit harder.
Yeah. So with those changes, how have you been pivoting to accommodate that shift?
Well, we pivot. A couple things that we have to do different. One, we have to be pickier into the markets that we go into and in the areas of the market. So you have to buy good buildings. You can't buy too old of a building. You have to buy them in a good location, and you preferably need to get them off market, because if you get a fully marketed deal, then you have a lot of investors coming after it and they bid the price up. And then sometimes it just doesn't make sense when the price gets too high. So just being more careful, concentrating more on building relationships with brokers so that you do get to that A list and be one of the top group of investors that they call when they have off-market deals, has basically been our I guess secret sauce in finding deals that cash flow.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When it comes to emerging markets that you see, is there anything that you're particularly excited about right now?
Well, we see because we're super active in Arizona, We see that as an emerging market, and because it continues to grow, because population continues growing, because businesses keep moving in and building their headquarters or their offices there. That's always exciting, because as the market continues year after year, the population continues to grow year after year. And so being able to be there in the buildings and buying the right buildings and operating them during that time gets us excited, because we know that we'll get plenty of appreciation in the coming years.
Danny, I noticed on your website that your company Prime Capital has a rigorous 4-part process. Can you go over that with us and explain how you're able to do that and have so much success with all the deals that you're doing?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Oh, yes, definitely. So we have to understand, when we get a broker that calls us for a deal, that has a deal available, you can't just say, yes, I would buy it. So first, when they tell us, we get the address and we find out what the location is. Usually we make calls to people that are in the area, that know the area probably better than us, and ask, what's the area like? Is it a tougher area? Is it a good area? Is it A, B, or C area? Definitely D areas we won't buy because we don't need to. So understanding that, because that's where your tenant base is going to come from. And if it's worth continuing, then we underwrite it. We put it on our models. We see what the current owner is doing. We'll go out and we'll shop our loan to see what the lenders could do. We talk to our insurance companies, which are some of the most expensive parts of the deal, and then we basically piece it together. And we usually do 5-year plans, and we're always looking for a minimum of 15 IRR for our investors on the investor level for any deal that we do. And that's on a conservative level, because we always want to leave a cushion in case of the market changes on us and we can't produce the results that we wanted. So we're really careful in making sure that we understand what we're going to make the deal look like as we operate it, and as we do the rent increases. And if we're comfortable with that, and understanding the market and the micro market too, what are the neighbors doing? How are they pricing their units? What do the units look like? And being able to understand it, then we get comfortable with the deal, and that's when we decide to pursue the deal, and go after it and see if we can get it at the price that we want to pay for it.
Yeah. I know that you work with multifamily. For our listeners here, what's one strategy you can share that has unlocked hidden value in a property that other people might overlook?
Well, there's many strategies, but I'll share that one of the last ones that we used. We just closed on an 84-unit building in Tucson. And we all know, anybody who's operating across the country knows how expensive insurance is. And in Arizona, it's more stable because there's no hurricanes, there's no earthquakes, there's no storms. And so the insurance typically has been going up for us maybe 10 to 12, 13% annually, where in other areas I've heard, such as Florida, it's quadrupled. But one strategy that we just used is, on this particular deal, we underwrote our insurance costs at of about $43,000 a year. And it was pretty much in line with the previous owner was paying. But because we have a really good insurance broker and we had to think outside of the box, we have other assets in Tucson as well. And we were able to get a blanket policy and get our insurance costs on that building at about $20,000. Now, if you don't know what a blanket policy is, it's basically one policy that covers more than one building. And the insurance companies are willing to do that because the losses are kind of mitigated between different buildings, and they're able to give you better pricing. So being able to reduce the costs by that much was a great benefit. And it all trickled down to the NOI, which trickles down to the investors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really excellent strategy. So, as I'm sure you're familiar with, every investor has a story where things got real. Maybe a deal went sideways or you had to pivot fast. Danny, can you share one of those moments like that on your journey?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yes, yeah, that's true. If you do enough deals, that sooner or later you get a couple bruises along the way. But the trick to that is being able to kind of grab the bull by the horns and make a shift. Small shift. A lot of times it's a lot of small shifts that kind of redirect the ship. And sometimes you might have to make one big one. But to answer your question, I had when I was initially starting, probably somewhere around 2018, and I did a couple trial runs on syndicating amongst friends. So I got a small group of friends, and I did a handful of deals out here in California. So we ended up buying one a fourplex. So it's a 4-unit building out in a rougher area, and I've done plenty of deals out there, but this one was particularly harder, and it was in Compton. And I bought a fourplex where we just couldn't get traction on the tenants. And at one point or another, we're doing 1 or 2 evictions. The tenants weren't paying, and it was harder to lease. And it just so happened that on that deal, I think we held it for maybe about 1.5 years, maybe 2 at most. But we ended up selling it. I ended up selling it and basically breaking even. So whatever the investors put into that deal, I was able to give them the same amount of money back. There were no real returns on that. And so that was like a failure for me, but it also taught me that for us to be able to do what we do, those smaller buildings don't work. There's just not enough cash flow. It's not big enough where if you have 1 or 2 vacancies, you're 25 or 50% vacant. And so that doesn't work. So the bigger, the better, because you can run kind of, it's steadier when tenants move out, and you can make the shifts and you can control it that way. So yes, so we don't buy smaller buildings anymore, but that was definitely a lesson as we move along through the process.
Yeah, Danny, you had also shared that you had built a property management company that you then sold or exited. Do you have any lessons from that experience too?
Oh boy, yeah, that was really interesting. And that was property management that operated in California. So anybody who's listening, California has different rules, and that's why it makes it a harder state to operate in. But nevertheless, when I started it, it wasn't that bad. And I started the company before we had any of the electronic payments, the app folios and the yardies. And so back then, everybody would still pay with a check, or they pay cash or with money orders, and we had to input manually every check we had to deposit. So I got to see how everything evolved from being manual input to going to electronic. And when we actually did the switch, and we actually used that folio as a property management software, and we switched everybody to electronic payment, we were actually able to save like one bookkeeper. Were able to eliminate because of that. So that was the drastic change that was happening in the industry, where everything went electronically, all electronic records. When we started, we used to have these big file rooms where we had everything, all the tenant leases and all the properties that we bought, all the owner files, all in real paper. And through time, the cloud started, so we switched over to all electronic and cloud. So it was really interesting to be able to see the transition of that. And I learned all that and learned how to handle the tenants, the maintenance requests, the move outs, the move ins. And so when I speak to property management companies now, I can guide them, first of all, knowing what our business plan is, one. And secondly, is making sure to understand that if things aren't leasing up quick enough, then I know I have to look at the advertising and what are we doing in advertising, what's our traffic like, and make tweaks on advertising to increase traffic. Or if we're spending a lot of money on maintenance, why? What do we have to do to cut back on it? So it really helps me to be able to operate these properties efficiently because I understand in the back end what they're doing or maybe what they're not doing.
That makes a lot of sense. For our listeners who are earlier in their journey or maybe they want to scale more, what's one piece of advice that you would give them? Let's say they're working on smaller deals and they want to move to the larger multifamily deals that you're doing.
Oh yeah, so I do get the opportunity to speak to a lot of people that are getting started in the business, and I think what I see sometimes is people trying to take too big of a bite, meaning they're new, even maybe their team members are new, and they're trying to source a deal. They're going to try to raise money. They're going to try to get a loan at the same time, and when you don't have any experience doing that, it's way too much to do that all by yourself, all at once, because it's a lot of work. For us, as an example, it's fairly easy if we get a new deal under contract. Probably in about a couple of hours, we can call everybody from our transactional attorney, our securities attorney, our insurance broker, our loan broker, whether it's the escrow company, and we can get everybody on board at the starting line really quick. But that's because we've done it so many times and we have everybody basically at the tips of our fingers. We work with them consistently so they know how we work and we have everything set up. Somebody who's trying to get into the business doesn't have those relationships built yet. So what I always say is don't try to take such a big bite. Take a smaller bite, bring some value to the table, and partner with somebody such as ourselves who's an experienced operator, so we can kind of bring you in as maybe as a small fractional part of the general partnership group. And that's because you were able to add value, whether you're bringing a deal to the table, or maybe you're creating a fund of funds to be able to participate in the fundraising. And then that way you can see how we operate, or another group how they operate, and you can learn that way. Because there's a lot of moving parts during the acquisition side, but there's also a lot of moving parts during the asset management side and during the hold period that you have to learn, and you can't just do it and be successful at it at the same time. So go out and find somebody that you can partner with and that can help you scale up that way.
Danny, what kind of a networking advice would you get? Was there a particular group that made all the difference for you, especially when you were starting off?
Well, there's a lot of groups out there that have annual events, and yes, one of the things that I think you need to do is you need to get out there and you need to meet people. Like when I started, I'd go to these networking events, and in the back of my mind was, okay, I got to get as many cards as I can from many people. And you got to remember, I'm using business cards now because that's kind of dating myself a little bit because nobody really carries around business cards anymore. Everything's done electronically. And so either way, that's how we collect contacts as we go to events now. But as I've gotten more seasoned, it hasn't been, I guess my mindset has shifted and not as many contacts, but more valuable contacts. And that's going out, networking, but literally sitting and talking to people and getting to know them and trying to figure out how you can help them. So that's kind of the trick is don't go into it thinking, how can they help me? If you go out and you help people, you'll get that help in return. So go to events, as many as you can, meet as many people as you can, talk to as many people as you can, pick their brain, get ideas, and kind of figure it out little by little, one step at a time.
Yeah, I love that. Danny, what's the next big move for Prime Capital Investments? Are you doubling down on a market or exploring something new?
We're looking at other markets. We want to get into one other market. We're in other markets, but super active in Arizona. So we're actually looking to get into another market, probably somewhere in the Midwest somewhere. And also as we do that, bringing in partnerships that can enhance or fill in the weaknesses that we have, maybe on the fundraising side. So bringing in partners that would potentially concentrate on doing the fundraising, and we kind of concentrate on our strengths, working on everything else. So that's what we're exploring this year. So hopefully we're able to put something together. We're pretty excited about that. And then at the same time, see if we can find more deals in our Arizona market too.
Awesome. Danny, before we wrap, if someone wants to connect with you, learn more about Prime Capital Investments, or explore some opportunities with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, so they can email me at dflores@primecapi.com. Once again, dflores@primecapi.com.
Perfect. Danny, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your journey. It's clear you're building something amazing with Prime Capital Investments.
Thank you so much for having me, Erika. I've really enjoyed this.
For everyone listening, if you found value from this episode, make sure that you're subscribed to the Real Estate Pro Show. We've got more conversations with operators like Danny who are crushing it in the real estate space. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.